Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel Physics Sergi, and here we are in Olympiad workout series, and I brought forward a tricky challenge on the concept of acceleration of different points of a rolling ring. Especially this rolling ring has another point mass embedded to it at a point on the periphery. Okay, so also we'll try to calculate the contact force. I'll try to devise a method in this particular video in which the solution caters to different conceptual dealings of this particular type of motion. Okay, so here we go. This is the problem statement, and there are three questions that we are going to answer at the end of the problem. So there is a pure rolling ring at an instant which is shown with a geometric centers velocity v towards right, and there is a point mass at this instant which is on the right leftmost point. Okay, mass of the particle and the ring are the same as given. And also the value of this v at this instant is square root of gr, where r is the radius. At this same instant, you have to find what is the acceleration of the center of the ring point, normal reaction from the floor on this system, and the frictional force acting between the floor and the ring. Okay, so these are the three concepts. Okay, right, have a try maybe for 5 to 10 minutes and do come back for the concept and the solution. So at the end of the problem, we'll also try to investigate if there are any other methods of solving the problem. Okay, so here we go. So the idea is, first of all, I would take the root of considering the ICR, or the instantaneous center of rotation, for this particular planar object, right? Ring and a point mass here. We see very carefully that the center of ring O is going to move along a horizontal straight line. So different points on this ring, including this embedded point mass, might move in a curve, but the geometric center always maintains the same height from the floor. So I can state that it moves along a horizontal straight line. So its acceleration A is horizontal, right? So whatever acceleration this point O can have, it can only be horizontal. And now with respect to this O, which is the geometric center, please understand it's not the center of mass, the geometric center, the bottommost point should have two components of acceleration. In any rigid body planar motion, if you sit on any point associated with the system and watch any other point, then it should seem as if that other point is in circular motion with respect to the point of observation. So the point from which you are observing is O. Imagine I observe the bottommost material point of contact, and if there is an alpha and an A associated with this system, A is off the center of the ring, not center of mass, then with respect to O, it should seem as if ICR, which is the bottommost point, should feel like it is in circular motion. Now, in that type of circular motion, there should be a centripetal acceleration observed called as r omega square in this direction, and there should be a tangential acceleration which should be r alpha, right? At a distance r here, there should be an r alpha towards right. I'm assuming alpha is in the anti-clockwise sense. Okay, we'll also prove it is indeed in the anti-clockwise sense. Okay, so which means with respect to O, the bottommost point's acceleration should be r omega square and r alpha. Now, therefore, with respect to ground, what should be the acceleration? You should add the acceleration of O back to the set of those two components. So totally with respect to ground, I should say there are three components. But you also know that it is purely rolling, therefore bottommost point cannot slip on the floor. Therefore, this component of A should be equal to R alpha, which is written here for pure rolling, along with the fact that V is equal to also R omega, where V, remember, was the center of the ring's velocity. So R omega also should be matching with that. Therefore, the only acceleration that survives for the ICR, or the bottommost point, should be r omega square in the upward direction, which in this problem, because V is given as root gr, the omega comes out to be root g by r, and therefore this number is g upward. So we will borrow forward this information to the next slide, where the acceleration of ICR is in the upward direction and is equal to g. So ICR is a non-inertial frame. In case you are doing any force or torque equations from ICR, you should be worried about the pseudo force and pseudo torque given by this acceleration. Okay, I hope you got till here. Let's move into the next slide. There'll be a lot of information on the next slide, so do follow my lead instead of reading everything on your own. Okay, so next step is to write the torque equation with respect to ICR or the IAR. IAR is nothing but instantaneous axis of rotation, which is passing through this bottommost point and perpendicular to the screen as you are watching. Lot of things. Let me explain how I drew this FBD. The center of mass lies between the point mass here and the center of the ring. And therefore, the acceleration of center of mass could be an AX and an AY. Two accelerations could be there. Also, the angular acceleration is alpha. I've assumed it in anti-clockwise sense. And there should be an mg, which is the weight of this particular blue color particle. And also this red color mg is the weight of this ring. Now, what are these yellow mg's? You should understand, I'm going to write the torque equation about this bottommost point. We have already proved that the bottommost point has an acceleration g upward. Therefore, I have to put a pseudo force both for the ring and also the particle, which is mg downward. So these yellow little things might be confusing for some, but upon elaboration, you should see that these are pseudo forces included, so that I can write torque equation from the ICR, which is going to be a non-inertial frame. So we are ready now. So we do this so as to avoid the torque due to N and Fs. You might question me, why am I choosing the ICR? Remember, the original question also asked us to calculate N and Fs, which at this point we have not yet done. Therefore, if I had chosen the center of mass axis to write tau equal to I alpha equation, which you are allowed to do, but about center of mass, the normal reaction and Fs torques will come into picture. In order to avoid calculating those, I shift my position to the ICR and then take the tau equal to I alpha equation. But I should be beware that in the torque on the left hand side, I should take both the pseudo and the real torques. Okay, so the pseudo force on each mass, I have written mg downward. Torque about ICR is due to these two forces only. These mg's will pass through this ICR, so they won't produce any torque. So this total 2 mg, which I have tried to maintain the same color, into r about ICR should be moment of inertia of the entire system of ring plus mass about this point into alpha. The ring contributes with a 2mr square about this axis, and the mass particle will contribute with m into root 2 r whole square into alpha. Thereby, you end up getting alpha is in the same sense as what you have assumed. That proves why alpha was supposedly anti-clockwise. Okay, and I'll just write r alpha as g by 2, because that is the first question, right? The value of a is equal to r alpha proves that the acceleration of the geometric center of the ring is equal to this particular number. So we got the answer for the first question. Answer is g by 2, and that too in the leftward direction. Okay, let's move on to the rest of the questions. We are now supposed to calculate normal reaction and friction, which we will try to do it by using the force equation. So if I can get AX and AY, I think my job would be done. So focusing on that aspect, again, a lot of things on the board, just follow my lead. Those who want to read things on their own, I suggest use this information. Start from this circle diagram, go and read this, and then this one, and then this one. Okay, so we are going to go clockwise here in our analysis. So what was this analysis about? Now we are going to analyze from the center of mass frame. Okay, on the left side, the two circles I have drawn and their informations written in them are done from ground frame. And on the right side, the informations are done from the center of mass frame. So let's go one by one. So accelerations of different important points on that ring with respect to ground frame will seem like this. You know, the center of the ring will move along a horizontal straight line. So its acceleration can only have a component, that is this one. Acceleration of center of mass, I've assumed two components because it moves in two-dimensional curvilinear motion, AY downward, AX leftward. And also ICR, we have already ascertained it should be R omega square this way, right? And there forms a small little triangle here. Can you visualize that? Joining center of mass to ICR to geometric center. I've written that triangle for our convenience here. Okay, so this is CM, the green color one. This yellow color line is the radius capital R. This slant distance between ICR and center of mass, which is useful in the next diagram, I'm writing it as small r. And if the angle made here is theta, you could clearly see that small r cos theta is nothing but the capital R itself, and small r sin theta, if required, is capital R by 2. Keep this in mind. Now, when you observe from center of mass frame, that means someone is sitting on CM and watching this entire thing. That would be a pure rotation. You will feel as if the entire body, a rigid body, always about center of mass, feels like it's in pure rotation. Okay, right? So in pure rotation, every point seems like moving in a non-uniform circular motion. So if you ask, how does the center of mass observer standing here looks at this particular geometric center, it will say that it has a circular motion of radius r by 2. with an omega and alpha being the same, the centripetal acceleration of this point is r by 2 omega square towards center of mass, and r by 2 alpha is in this particular direction because of anti-clockwise alpha. Similarly, from center of mass frame, this ICR point again will have a centripetal acceleration of small r omega square and tangential acceleration of r alpha. Okay, now these are looking slant vectors. So these ones, I want to split it in the x and y directions using this triangle. So upon splitting, you could see, let me go a step closer. Okay, sorry, concentrate. This r omega square, if split up, will give you r cos theta term in the vertical direction and r sin theta. So cos theta is capital R itself. So it will give you capital R omega square this way. Do you see that? I have written that capital R omega square. So this small r omega square's component in the vertical direction is capital R omega square. Similarly, this one will produce a leftward component, which is capital R by 2 omega square. Then this small r alpha also can be split into this direction and this direction, which is capital R by 2 alpha and capital R alpha, by taking this as 90 minus theta. So these two white vectors have been split into these four yellow vectors. Okay, right. So up till here, it's very clear. And which frame are we in? We are still watching from center of mass frame. So from CM frame, these are the accelerations. Now, if I want to get to ground frame, that means I'm back to the ground frame. You have to get down from center of mass frame, add the center of mass acceleration to each of these points. That means this green set of accelerations should be just overlapped onto this to observe these points from the ground. So the back to the ground frame, all those white vectors, I'll add back the green colored vectors to both the places. Can you see these white ones that I had in this diagram superposed with the green acceleration of center of mass, right? What did I use? Acceleration of any point is equal to acceleration of a point with respect to CM, that was this diagram, plus acceleration of CM. That's why I added them. Same thing I did here. So these accelerations together, when they fight with each other, they should produce only this number. Okay, whereas these accelerations, when they fight with all of each other, they should finally produce only r omega square. Okay, so if you read those things, I'll keep that two diagrams. So concentrate simultaneously on these two diagrams. So from this one, which is easier, you could see in the vertical direction, only r omega square should survive. That means this should be there. So this r by 2 alpha and this ay should be equal to each other. This is this way. So, and we already had r alpha is g by 2 in the previous slide. So I'll substitute here in this problem because of the numericals. This comes out to be g by 4. Ay we have solved for. Okay. Similarly, in the leftward direction, the value of ax plus r by 2 omega square should match with r alpha because there is no leftward acceleration here. So when ax has been written as r alpha minus r by 2 omega square, substitute r alpha value and omega square value from the previous slides, you get a 0 here. That means there is, fortunately, because of the numbers that are given in this problem, the center of mass at this instant doesn't have a x acceleration. Okay, so we got the acceleration of center of mass for both the components solved here. So I'll borrow this information into a free body diagram in the next slide if you're ready. Okay, right, let's move forward. So I borrowed those things as it is. Now using center of mass acceleration components in force equations. Till now we have done ICR analysis, torque analysis from ICR. Now we are going to just write F equal to ma equations. Okay, right. When you write F equal to ma for a system of particles, you write it for acceleration of center of mass. So for this entire 2m system, the acceleration of center of mass has 0 component towards left and g by 4 downward. Therefore, in the vertical direction, total 2mg downward force minus n should be matching with 2m into ACM in y direction. So that's what I have written here. So rearrange, n comes out to be 3mg by 2. The value of Fs has to be 0 because there is no acceleration found in horizontal direction. Okay, these are just, remember, the instantaneous value in the photograph that was given in the problem. Okay, so I hope you appreciate. My concept was completely clear and correct here. If there is any typo or error in my calculations, so please do let me know. Okay, so the concept is definitely clear. And that doesn't mean my method is the best method. Okay, so can you solve this problem using any alternative or a shorter method? Why should we do this? And I said alternative or shorter method. need not be that alternative method has to be shorter, right? And why should you even look at longer methods when you are solving Olympiad level problems or JEE advanced level problems? Is by looking at this scenario in different directions, your concepts around that particular topic will become more and more stronger. So always caution yourself that correct answer need not mean correct method. There could be some cancellations of two or more mistakes, and yeah, you can arrive at the same answer, right? So please be careful about that. So one thing you can do is comment your approach with timestamp in this video, and I'll respond to it to clarify. Okay, so for example, your method is almost same as mine, but you will try to change one aspect of it. Which part or which video timestamp? That means in that particular time you want to write this equation, or why should you write that equation? If you have that doubt, just post your comment below. I'll try to respond before your exam of Indian Physics Olympiad. Okay, right? So please do check out the rest of the playlist, all the links of which are in the description below. So I don't want to waste your time explaining these things. I have done it enough number of times. So just check the description, you'll understand. Okay, and all the best to those students who are writing their IOQ physics version of the examination on the Sunday, that is the coming Sunday, right? Please do read the questions carefully and do your best, and don't take any pressure. I think that's not going to change your life, and no exam does that. Okay, right? So please try to enjoy the exam, right? Physics is for enjoyment, and through that enjoyment you will always find success. Okay, so please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you like the content, and see you in the next video.